name's Alan and we're from Aylesford Pottery in the middle of Kent. We're doing some Raku today, which is firing pots outside in a kiln that goes up to 1000 degrees. We're using two glazes. We're using a crackle white glaze and a copper glaze. From the crackle white you'll obviously get what it says, the glaze crazes as it calls, and with the copper glaze you get any range of colours from green, turquoise all the way through to a bright copper colour. And the process is that we put them in the kiln, fired on a propane burner up to 1000 degrees. At 1000 degrees, when the glaze is melted, we take them out of the kiln with a pair of tongs, plunge them into sawdust where it burns and the glaze reduces. But what that means is it's being starved of oxygen, so that's what gives you the different colours in the copper glaze. Once we've done that, they're left in the sawdust to cool for about 20 minutes, half an hour. They're taken out of the sawdust and left to cool. They're covered in ash, look like a load of rubbish, but it's then you take a scouring pad and you scour all the ash off the pot, and that's when the glaze is revealed. I'm packing the kiln here, making sure I've got plenty of room around the pots so that I can get the tongs in there to get them without touching. And what I try to do is I try to put the copper coloured glazes nearer the flame and the white glazes up towards the end of the flame. The reason being that white glaze prefers to be a little bit hotter, and it's a little bit hotter at this end of the kiln. And also you still have to maintain that little gap around the edge. And you have to have a little bit of a gap between the burner and the hole. Now you would have thought that if you put your burner right in the hole it'd get hotter, but it doesn't. It actually stops the temperature rising. You couldn't do that. Right, so we've got a variety of glazed pots on the kiln here, just preheating, so they dry out a little bit before they go in the kiln. We've got this copper glaze which has been dipped, so this is glazed up to here and the inside is unglazed, so the inside will be completely black and the outside will range from a dark copper colour all the way through to turquoise and green. And this one is the white crackle glaze, which again has been left unglazed on the neck of the pot, so that will be black, and this will be a crazed white glaze. This one was dipped half in a copper glaze, so you're going to have black and copper. This one was trailed on with a... These are close shapes will hold the temperature a bit longer.
So you layer it in there.
The only reason for the sand is a slightly damp sand to stop the smoke billowing out.
Do you want me to have a search around?
I think that's it, Graham.
Yeah.
Right, we're just taking this out of the sawdust. It's still black in places. At this stage you get your scouring pad and a bit of cleaner and scrub all that black off of there. You have to be fairly careful because the pot is still quite fragile, that you don't scrub too much. So that has been reduced really heavily, which is giving us the really bright copper colours. You'll notice when we go through the day, you'll see some that are more green and blue, which have been oxidised a little bit more. But this one was the first one out of the kiln and straight into the sawdust, which is why you got that bright copper all over it. So here we have a finished student's pot that they've glazed, and it's been through the firing process. The glaze has been applied by dipping the bottom, dipping the top, and dribbling the glaze on the middle section of the pot. All three different glazes. We've got a copper glaze, blue glaze and a tin glaze. When it's gone into the kiln, it's come out of the kiln at 1000 degrees, it's put into the sawdust, and where that sawdust has almost made a line where it's reduced heavily in the bottom of the pot, which is why you've got these coppery colours coming through. This pale blue turquoise colour is more of an oxidised finish. Glaze is crazed and the burning of the carbon in the sawdust has highlighted the craze. That's a finished pot.